Round one. You win. Round one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into round number 15 of the 2020 MotoOption SX Series. The 250 class is where the action should be here tonight. England, Dickerson, Tiberino. 8th round of the series in the 250 East region is ready to go. Let's drop the gate in Foxborough. Isaiah Dickerson, $5 richer as he picks up the RaceVentureGaming.com Whole Shot Award, and right behind him is England. There goes Dickerson, he's down, he tucks the front wheel. If he could win this, he would leave here with a 5-point lead in the championship. White flag coming out this time by. Battle for the win in Foxborough. 1 lap in it. Teammates trying to decide who will hold the red plate at the final round in Salt Lake City. Up anywhere. Maybe that inside line on the wall jump, which England has not been using to defend. Down the inside he goes. He's going to double to the inside. England does go to defend, and he takes his teammate down. Dickerson goes down. Out a little cross jump action from England with 2 turns to go, and with 1 turn to go, Colby England takes the win tonight in Foxborough. So much on the line with these guys. Who is going to win tonight in Foxborough? It's the 15th round of the season underway as we're off and running in the 450 main event. Down into this first turn as they collided with Leclerc, and then Whelan gets spit around back there. It's Zoe Cross with the RaceVentureGaming.com Whole Shot Award. And he's down through the whoops. He crashes at the end of the whoops, and it gives Hunter Root the lead. 9.5 minutes and a lap to go, and there's the move. Mitchell to the lead. Colton Mitchell takes the lead in Foxborough. That's the move right there if he can hold it. Root's trying to beat him to the corner, and Leclerc shuts the door hard to block the inside line, and he picks up second in the process. This is going to be good news for Seabold, as down the inside goes Root, and Leclerc has to stand it up at the top of the corner. He triples into the next corner, and Root has to swing around the outside, takes the spot back. Leclerc underneath of him, puts him off the outside. comes to the final corner, and your winner tonight in Foxborough is Colton Mitchell on the system decal number 6, away from Alexis Leclerc 2nd, Jeremy Siebold 3rd, and Hunter Root 4th.
Welcome to Race Factory Gaming Supercross.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into round number 16 of the 2020 MotoOption SX Series live here on Start Your Systems. My name is, of course, Kellen Brower, bringing you guys the action tonight from Las Vegas. That's right, we are not in Las Vegas for the finale. We are actually in it for the second to last round tonight, and a very unique and different racetrack that we're not accustomed to seeing here tonight in Las Vegas. But before we get started, of course, always got to run you guys through all the kind of happenings of the series, where everything is at right now. We'll do this as fast as possible because I know racing is about to get started. But here was qualifying times for the 450 class a little earlier tonight. Hunter Root, Siebold, Mitchell, Leclerc, all towards the top end. Ignore Seth Garrett up there because there's some glitching going on with the system. But the point standings is where we want to talk about tonight because Jeremy Siebold can wrap up the title tonight, and we'll have some scenarios that we'll go through discussing whether or not he is able to actually wrap up the title when we get main event racing a little later on tonight. Obviously, Colton Mitchell, Jack Haley still in it with a shot. But Siebold looking to wrap up his first career 450 Supercross championship tonight. In the 250 Supercross West class, it's actually Braden Carter on this fourth slot here that you see has the fastest time, and by almost a second. I think that's actually changed a little bit. I think guys have gotten a little closer since I last updated, but Carter, now the champion of this series, definitely on a high note right now, and this is what we're looking at points-wise. Huge points lead for Carter. Already clinched the title last time we raced a couple weeks ago. So no sweat off his back anymore. He just has to go out there and pretty much try to win races from this point on this week in Vegas and next week in the Salt Lake City Showdown. So got a lot to get through tonight, but of course we want to talk about this racetrack before we get too deep into anything. Very, very unique racetrack tonight, I will say. Not going outside of the stadium is kind of a weird thing to do at Las Vegas. It's been a while since we've had that happen. But the starting gate is not a typical stadium length end-to-end type of thing, as we'll keep looking at the overhead view. It's actually kind of like slanted into the other end zone at the UNLV soccer stadium here, Sandboyd Stadium. Goes into a long sweeper that kind of coils back onto itself. I'll actually take you guys for a quick lap here if I can before they get us off the track and start this racing here tonight. But you can see this is just kind of a long sweeping left-hand first turn. Going to probably be a lot of chaos there actually, and if you can, you want to triple out of this first turn and then triple into the second turn, swing around here, and you're greeted right away with the first Supercross triple, actually the only Supercross triple on the track, and then a really kind of interesting little dragon's back backwards down the start straight into this over-under bridge that's splitting both the inside and outside gates. And then the finish line jump here down at the, this would be the north end zone. A couple different rhythm options that are going to be available here. I'll just take the easy double on off and then triple single line through here. But there's going to be a couple different ways to get through there. And then I'm assuming the optimal line here is going to be over table and then tripling this so you can get a good drive for the whoops here. And then there's two options here. You go outside triple, inside you could either go roll double, double single onto the start straight, and then you get on the power all the way back down into that first corner. get on the brakes hard and into that first turn sweeper. Very, very interesting layout tonight here at Vegas, and it's probably going to, I think, give us some good racing here tonight. Long rhythm lanes leading into a couple different tricky sections that you can definitely make up time. Usually when we see these rhythm lanes into whoop sections, that's where a lot of differences are made, because guys are attacking the whoops harder out of a kind of a section that you can carry speed through in a rhythm lane. So yeah, this is going to be interesting tonight. We're going to have a lot of interesting talking points, but we're going to get things kicked off with, of course, the 250 West Heat race number 1 coming up first. This is going to be round number 9 of their championship, 10-round championship for the 250 West division. And as we mentioned, Braden Carter has already clinched the championship 2 rounds early, but he is still trying to win races. And if he can win these last 2 races, he'll actually put himself in pretty rare air. I think only Jeremy Siebold will have won more races in a single season than Carter. I think actually if he wins the last 2, he ties Siebold for most wins in a season. So that is going to be something we'll obviously keep an eye on, as Carter has been on a dominant tear in the second half of this West Coast campaign, and really just hasn't had any pressure, I would say, to speak of since maybe round 4. Kind of just has walked home a lot of these race wins, and obviously had a huge championship lead when we had the showdown at Denver a couple weeks ago, where he was able to clinch the championship there. So Carter looking to win another one here tonight, but to make it into the main event, of course, he must first qualify into the main event through these heat races. They will go 6 minutes plus 1 lap, and the top 9 will transfer out of these, and everybody else is headed to that last chance qualifier where only 4 riders will go through. In what is a very interesting night in Las Vegas. It's not normal that we come to Las Vegas. There's no showdown. There's not necessarily a championship on the line. I guess in the 450 class it kind of is, but yeah, this is a little bit of a take-back moment, and we'll be looking forward to Salt Lake City next week as well for the finale of the championship. Yeah, but like I said, heat race number 1 coming up first. Let me get back in the server so we can watch it. You know what? You guys are absolutely right. I don't know why I was thinking that. It's a triple crown, isn't it? It's supposed to be a triple crown at least, which means these guys are about to go 10 minutes and a lap. And yes, I do know it's lagging, although I think right now it should be fixed. I think we just had a couple frame skips there. It should be evening out. Yeah, totally forgot that this is supposed to be a triple crown. So we can see our guys out there getting their warm up on. This is just a parade lap for these guys, and we should be having oh, I'm sorry, this is the LCQ coming up first. That's what I am all out of sorts. I completely forgot this is a triple crown event, but you're right, it is a triple crown event. So we already have riders that have qualified in. Those are some of the riders that we saw in the qualifying times just a moment ago. Now we're about to see who makes it in with these riders into the main event. Only 4 go through 6 minute plus, or a 5 minute plus 1 lap heat race, LCQ style. It's time to go racing in Vegas though. They are off and running. Only 4 go. Who's it going to be? It's a good jump of the 192 down the inside as everybody kind of funnels into that first turn, but Brandon Holmes picks up the whole shot on the number 62 around the outside. 192 is Trevor Spencer. He funnels in right behind him. We have Alex Helms and Alex Heckman right behind him. That was Daniel Irvine hitting the deck on the 872 as everybody already kind of spreading apart a little bit, I would say. Top 4 actually has a small gap. Top 2 has the gap of their own as Brandon Holmes leads across the finish line jump on lap number 1, and we'll see how these 250 riders navigate these rhythm sections. Holmes having some big problems here. Case City, and he's going to get passed by Spencer, who quads over him and doubles down to the inside into the race lead. Trevor Spencer, SwapMotoLive.com, number 192 is out front, and just as I suspected, over table triple into the whoops to carry the speed. Inside double single back onto the start straight. So we'll see different options. You can see actually here Heckman went wide and tripled as Helms behind him has now lost a position, and Heckman trying to look for a way around Brandon Holmes. And the key here is these 250 guys are all swinging super wide in the sweeper to get that triple in that first rhythm lane, which I think is going to open up an opportunity for some passing later on tonight. If these guys are going to be way out there, somebody can dive underneath of them, block the line, And while, yes, they will be going slower through that first rhythm lane, they will have also made a pass in the process. So definitely some opportunities to be presented there. We already saw Holmes, who made a mistake this first lap through in this rhythm section. Now he's making another little bobble, but he's going to get the preferred line on the exit. And actually, it looks like it was Spencer who went down as Heckman was trying to get down the inside. Heckman taking another different line, and Spencer trying to triple over him isn't going to get there. It's Holmes to the lead in this last chance qualifier. Is a bit off the track there, though, as Heckman comes in behind. It's Trevor Spencer, and still Alex Helms right now in the 4th spot. It's Trent Adams behind him, Tristan James, Jake Warden, just to name a few of these guys in the mix. Battle up front, though, is a nice one still, as Spencer under attack from Alex Heckman. Curious to see how this Dragon's Back plays out. Looks a little bit easier than most Dragon's Back sections, but as the terrain deformation takes the track down a little bit later on in these main events, might get a kicker in it, might see guys struggling with it. Ooh, little mistake there for Heckman as he almost jumped off the racetrack and trying to get that 3-3-1 out of the rhythm lane there cleanly. Looks like Holmes making a couple of mistakes in his own right. That's allowed Spencer to get back up on him, and he's going to try to peek down the inside again, going inside double single onto this start straight. So it's Holmes, Spencer, Heckman, top 3. Helms still in 4th. Adams, Gonzalez, Ginter, Ryan DeSellis. Ooh, Austin Bear just went down, as did Jake Warden. A lot of these guys starting to see their chances slip away and making it through. In fact, our leaders, goodness gracious, those front 3 at least have a pretty well-established gap at this point. Probably not going to be too much of an issue. And Devin Davis, another guy that normally is in these main events, has actually podiumed this season. Outside looking in, he is in 18th right now. He's trying to unlap himself, but really no use, and you can see he is pretty much calling it there as Heckman's going to jump down the inside of Trevor Spencer, make the pass. Oh, and Holmes went down. Brandon Holmes is on the ground. Not sure what happened there, but he's on the backside of that single, so perhaps a little case job to Endo. Anyway, he drops back to 4th. Alex Helms has gone by. And Holmes now might have to worry about the charging Kevin Gonzalez. Let's take a look at lap times. Gonzalez at a 55.4 last time by to a 57.9 for Holmes, and there's only 2 seconds in it. And white flag will not be coming out this time by. Getting that Dragon's Back cleanly, charging down the straightaway, and actually opening up that gap just a little bit. In fact, well, he's moved up to 3rd. What happened? Oh, Alex Helms jumped off the track before the finish line jump. The 492 machine crashes out of the 3 spot and gives it up to Kevin Gonzalez, who has put on this steady charge to get into this position, and now he is on the bubble spot as they work their way around Devin Davis. Another mistake for Holmes, and just all out of sorts entering this whoop section. He's going to start jumping through. In fact, almost got landed on by Devin Davis, and he's off the side of the racetrack. Trying to keep himself good, though. Zach Ginter, Alex Helms, Ryan DeSellis, and Daniel Irvine all back here. Would love to jump on an opportunity to go after Brandon Holmes. Alex Heckman, though, in the lead, and he should be getting white flag this time by. No, I'm sorry. This is going to be a 6-minute LCQ, so 1 minute extra of LCQ action here for these guys. Got to be a painstakingly long amount of time for our leaders. Although Heckman and Spencer both in a really good position, not too many of the key players right behind them. In fact, they have about a 10-second gap there on Kevin Gonzalez, which is just about the distance of one fall-off crash. So if you're new to MotoOption Supercross action, you've never been here before, you've never seen it before, this is, of course, the MX Simulator video game released back in 2008, but still cranking along nicely here as we got a small battle for the lead brewing. And while you can have a crash in this game, your rider actually never lets go of the handlebars. So when you fall, you'll see this weird thing where it looks like they're just supermaning off the side of the bike, and eventually their legs start moving and they kind of pick themselves up slowly. That's a pretty standard just crash that happens every time, and those fall-off crashes can last anywhere from about 8 to 12 seconds, so you always like to have about a 10-second cushion to the guy behind you if you're very interested in holding on to your position, in this case a transfer position out of the last chance qualifier. Oh, Heckman up and over the bars, kind of nosed it in all Jet Lawrence style there on the triple landing. That's going to give Spencer the lead and potentially a win in this last chance qualifier as Heckman tries to get going in front of Kevin Gonzalez. Gonzalez is going to make the move on by. Brandon Holmes is back here, and Zach Ginter not too far off of him. So that could spice things up a little bit as Heckman's trying to show a wheel on Gonzalez into the sweeper. Going to end up swinging wide and try to get the run to triple, but he just decides against it anyway. Goes double, triple, single. Meanwhile, up front, Trevor Spencer gets a little bit of a gift on the last lap with Heckman going down, but regardless, he takes the win in the LCQ. He's headed to the main event tonight in Vegas. It's going to be Gonzalez, Heckman, and potentially Brandon Holmes, although Zach Ginter would love to say something about it. Ooh, Ginter up into the bales a little bit. That's going to cost him some time, and Holmes has basically just got to get over this tunnel jump clean, which he does. One more turn, and Brandon Holmes looks like he's stamped his ticket to the main event. Of course, we have to wait for cuts, which is a penalty system doled out by the game itself for missing timing gates. There's about 24 timing gates on this track tonight. So if you miss a couple of them successively and you gain some time from, say timing gate 19 to 22 and you missed 20 and 21, and you gain time from 19 to 22 based on standard deviation, well, you are assessed a penalty based on that time difference. And we'll talk about cuts, of course, as the nights go on. But yeah, there we go. Cuts are in, and Holmes actually did end up getting some cuts, but so did Ginter. Ginter actually had more cuts, 1.39 seconds, while Holmes only had a half second of cuts to his name. And it's going to keep that top four the exact same as they were. Trevor Spencer going through to the main event tonight in this one here at Las Vegas. Just a quick shout out to my boy, also my teammate, SYS MX Racing's Alex Heckman, who just dropped by the chat. He's stoked. Just made his first main event of the season because he hasn't been around here much, but always good to see my teammates, team members, putting in some solid performances out here. It's been, let's see, the last race I raced in this game was Vegas 2017, so it's been a while since I did anything worthwhile for my own team. So glad that we have some people still to carry the torch. All right, so coming up next is going to be 450 last chance qualifier. These guys, again, will go, I believe, 5 minutes in a lap. Top four will transfer through to the other into the main with the other 18 riders that have already made it into the main event based on their lap time. So a lot of these guys that we're hoping to go for a championship tonight, at least keep things interesting with Seabolt out front by 18 points in the championship. Going to probably be breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief that they made it in straight out on times and don't have to go through any heat races or last chance qualifiers. But I'm sure there are a group of people in this LCQ that believe their name belongs firmly in those main event discussions. And we'll be sure to run you through who's in this LCQ as soon as we get loaded in. Glad to see everybody just drop by here tonight. Another great night of over 200 viewers. Really appreciate all the support that we've had all year between, jumping here and Racer X Illustrated when we streamed that week back at Seattle. Just an absolute fabulous year, really good viewership all year long, and of course a big thanks to everybody that watches these streams and has supported the game over the years by either purchasing the game or racing in these series, getting their name either out there or just enjoying a little bit of fun action with your buddies. MX Simulator is frustrating at times, but can be a very fun game when you get it right. Brendan Kennedy wants to know, which section do you think is going to be the hardest as the night goes on? Well, that's a good question because I think we can already see, at least in the 250 class, it's going to be these rhythm sections that we got Eduardo Simos going through right here. Getting that over the table triple line into the whoops is going to be real tough to carry some speed. But I personally think in the 450 class, it might be a mix of the rhythm lanes and things like the Dragon's Back and these flat corners like the sweepers and the corner before the finish line jump, because these guys are going to struggle to get the power down on these bikes, which will dig in a little bit harder and maybe make some interesting notches and holes that these guys will have to navigate. So we'll see how that goes as the night goes on. But right now it's 450 last chance qualifier time as the gate is down in Las Vegas. 4 go through. Who are they going to be? Down the inside, it looked like it was Copeland to the corner first, and he's going to control the inside and take the whole shot. Looks like Casey Ollert on the 66 ran a little bit wide. Billy Kunitz on the 63 got down the inside, but he got a little nudge there, and Andrew Wood has moved up into the 2 spot. Thank you, Dustin Pedersen, dropping a dono in chat. I also saw earlier we had another donation come in. I'll be sure to scroll up and thank you after this race is over, but I appreciate the donos you guys dropping in. You got D-Cope out front of A-Wood, Brock Pearson, Garrett Hollenbeck, red machines galore out front as Wood goes for the oh my gosh, triple quad line and then triple quad into the corner. A-Wood takes the lead and he brings Pearson with him. Andrew Wood leading the last chance qualifier here in Las Vegas. My co-commentator out front, and he's scrubbing the triple onto the start straight, trying to hold off Pearson. Out front on the 729. I can't believe he got that line. Triple quad in the back rhythm. Curious to see if some of the other guys in this 450 division are going to follow suit with an option like that here tonight. But it's Wood out front on the 729. He's trying to hold off Brock Pearson. And we still got Copeland right there. So let's see if Wood elects to do this line again, or does he defend? He does go outside. Does he get the triple in? Oh, a little bit off the side of the track, and that's going to allow Pearson to make the move, and Copeland jumping on the track. Oh, and A-Wood goes down, and he's going down there. That's with Turley. Spencer Turley was also down. Garrett Hollenbeck is also down, and the 170 of Owen Hillman coming in, also hitting the ground. And I think that was St. Laurent on the 86, so a pileup causes Andrew Wood rejoins the racetrack. Brock Pearson to the lead. Dylan Copeland second. Ian Holm goes to third. And Reed Young right now on the bubble spot. Casey Ollert right behind him, breathing down his neck. Trying to make it in. There's a battle of a couple Integrity teammates out for, in the 4-5 spot, I should say. So if one of these guys can make it and the other does not, it's going to be an unhappy trip to the hauler for both of them, as Ollert had an option to go there around his teammate Reed Young, but he made a mistake, and Young has been flubbing this rhythm section all the way through. He's trying to block Ollert, but Ollert's going to swing on by around the outside. And watch out, because Spencer Turley's sneaking up in the background. We also had Brock Pearson down. I'm sorry, that was Ian Holm that was down, not Pearson. Anyway, around goes Spencer Turley and puts himself into the final transfer spot. Oh, but he gets taken down by Reed Young. And then a little nudge from behind puts him off the bike. So Hollenbeck goes into the final transfer spot. Reed Young moves up, Ian Holm, Owen Hillman, and then Turley gets going behind him. Turley not going to be thrilled with that maneuver there by Reed Young. But for the moment, it has given Reed Young an opportunity to go after Garrett Hollenbeck for this final transfer spot. Hollenbeck going for the triple over table, double crunch, triple outline, I guess, or triple single line. As Reed Young goes down, Hollenbeck now has to deal with Ian Holm closing up. And Holm a little out of shape on triple landing through the whoops. Like I said, that's going to be a tricky section, particularly for those 250 guys. Haven't yet seen the Elite 450 guys hit that line just yet and see how difficult it is. But the over table, and then it's a pretty big 353 triple into that whoop section. So Copeland out front checks in on the lap number 6. He's got a pretty nicely established gap here on Casey Ollert, Brock Pearson. and Garrett Hollenbeck inside of the top 4 right now. Ian Holm outside looking in the 5 spot. We'll go on board with the whip style number 93 rider and see how it looks from his perspective out here. Little mistake for Hollenbeck ahead of him. Oh, but Holm jumps off the track, and he's not going to get a good line into this whoop section. He has to start jumping. Kind of 2 jumps the whoops and goes down in the process. There it is. Ian Holm goes down. Spencer Turley moves into the 5 spot now, and he's going to try to run down Garrett Hollenbeck. So can he do it? What is up, my dudes? Trying to make it into the main event here tonight. Oh, and we have Ohlert down, and Hollenbeck jumps on him. 2 riders down together, and Turley sees that as he comes over the double jump, moves into the final transfer spot. Hollenbeck trying to get going, as also Reed Young is getting into the mix. This is going to be 2 to go. White flag will be out next time by, and Turley's in the final transfer spot. Now, can he hold on to it as he goes for the big boy line? Triple, quad, triple down the inside of Ohlert, and he gets it, but he slides out, and Ohlert hits him, and we got a stack up in the corner. 4 riders lodged together, and a cross jump. Ohlert gets into Reed Young, or no, I'm sorry, that was Hollenbeck that went down. So Turley getting away scot-free here as he's now into the 3 spot. It's actually a battle between Ohlert and Young back here for that final transfer spot. Do they go together and try to run down Turley, or do they settle it out between the 2 of them? Remember, they are teammates on the Tegrity KTM. Dragon's back, getting down on the power across the start straight. Over the finish line, jump. And this is close. White flag is waving. You can see Turley's just up the road, and both of these guys want to get to him if they can, but Young just cases, and I think he went down. No, he stayed up, but Turley has gotten through these sections pretty clean and gets a nice clean run through the whoop section right there as well. Meanwhile, up front, Dylan Copeland on his way to taking the win here tonight in the last chance qualifier, stamping his ticket to the main event with a little straight air Leclerc action. It's Copeland, winner, last chance qualifier. Pearson, Turley, Ohlert, Young, Hillman all coming to the line. It looks, oh, Ohlert sends it! He was in 4th and he sends it off of the track for some reason. I have no idea why, but it gives Reed Young the final transfer spot. Hillman comes across the line in 5th. I don't know what just happened. I would have to assume he did that on purpose, as he has also disconnected from the server. Casey Ohlert out of this one. I mean, I think that was full-blown on purpose at that point. And we've seen in the past riders have elected to just race the last chance qualifier and then pull off to the side before the finish line jump and not race the races. I'm not sure if that's a situation that just happened right here, but regardless, that was a very weird end of this last chance qualifier, which will confirm that Reed Young, Spencer Turley, Brock Pearson, and Dylan Copeland are headed to the main events tonight here in Las Vegas. The Triple Crown, final round of the Triple Crown, which threw me for a loop earlier in the stream. I apologize for that mistake on my end. But one thing that the Triple Crown does tonight is actually give us a pretty clear indication that the title won't be wrapped up this early, I would say. Coming into tonight, if Seabolt was able to pick up the win, Colton Mitchell needed to finish 5th, and whatever you want to call it, Jack Haley needs to finish 4th for them to stay alive in the championship for the final round in Salt Lake City. So I think that's probably the closest scenario we'll have to watch, because if Seabolt were to finish 2nd, then it inflates a little bit. Mitchell would only need to finish 8th. Haley would only need to finish 7th. Seabolt, if you're going to finish 3rd tonight, Mitchell would only need to finish 10th, and then you're getting into some results that are pretty far down the order for a Triple Crown, because you can usually salvage your night. Mitchell, who won last week in Foxborough, pretty likely he's going to end up top 5 overall-ish tonight at some point. Even if he puts in, like, let's say a 5th and then 2 22nds, he should still maybe hover around the top 10. And without Seabolt, actually winning the race, without Seatbelt actually winning that race, I'm not sure. I just heard a weird noise. Then it seems pretty likely he'll stay alive for the championship. So yeah, definitely kind of creates a scenario where at the best case, these guys are going to gain some points towards the championship tonight. But at worst case, I guess they just don't score enough points to get it close enough. I'm not sure, because really it seems pretty likely they'll be able to keep it alive going into Salt Lake City. But we'll have to keep an eye on that, and we'll also keep you guys updated on kind of where the overall rankings are tonight as well. But now it is time to go racing for the points-paying positions here tonight in Las Vegas. First up will, of course, be 250 main event number 1. They should go 10 minutes and a lap. 22 riders. Looking through chat, seeing if there's any questions. It looks like you guys are all happily just hanging out amongst each other. Who are the greatest outdoor riders in sim history? Well, we went over this a couple weeks ago, I believe, but Jesse Mullins for sure is probably the greatest, or one of the greatest. He has 3 consecutive outdoor titles, but he doesn't race with us any longer. You obviously have to throw guys like Alexis Leclerc and Tyson Fresquez up there, who have both won championships as well. Hunter Root was really, really dang good outdoors. You go back to the first ever outdoor champion, Austin Jones. He was really good. And then, you know, even going to Europe, you have Dennis Fjellberg, Valtteri Tiainen, and stuff like that. These guys are all rippers. I think you put probably everybody I just mentioned on the track in their prime, and you have yourself a really dang good race. BeastGamer0529 wants to know, how do you get into these races? You head over to racefactorygaming.com. That's all one word, racefactorygaming.com. And there's a whole kind of list of things that you can do. You can race amateurs, you can race novice, you can apply to get a pro license and race the series that we're racing here. But usually you do start in novice and kind of work your way up until the amateur ranks, racing some amateur nationals and stuff like that. And then you can earn an A license to race in the pro class, which is 250 class license only, and then get your pro license to race in the 450 class in this game. But you can also just get involved in the game and the many races and disciplines that are available to you in this game. mxsimulator.com if you want to go there and kind of get yourself involved. It's a great game, $42. It's been that way since day one, and yeah, it's kind of crazy how much it's had a really long lifespan, but glad we're still here and bringing you guys the action. Mike's cutting in and out a little bit. Hopefully that's better. What is the best MX Sim dyno or most used? I think most people use the 2018 Husky 450 in the 450 class. I'm not sure. 250 I think is the KTM still. 2018 KTM SXF. I don't know, man. I honestly haven't raced in a long time in this game, so it's been a hot minute since I've had to pay attention to what dyno's the best. I usually just let my teammates decide, and then they run it. Shout out Kyle Miller in chat, by the way. He says he'll be having the standings to me tonight for the Triple Crown, because they're always a bit of a tough one to follow. But it's time to go racing here tonight, folks. You guys excited? I am. Let's go racing in Las Vegas. First 250 main event of the Triple Crown in Las Vegas. The revs are up and the gate is down in Vegas. Off and running. Looks like our champion got a little pinch there, and it's Plessinger, who's actually number 61, but using Russ Chapman's setup, gets the hole shot from the outside. So Plessinger on the Chapman number 29 bike gets the early lead. It's McIntosh and Braden Carter up there all together. We also have Jake Rose, Dale Mullins, Brandon Holmes, Benjamin Saves. So a lot of people near the sharp end of the field. After lap number 1, of course, the man to watch is going to be Braden Carter. See if Carter can't make some early passes and go for the lead, and it looks like he's already starting to try here as he's going to get the big lines and try to go around the outside of Dalton Plessinger, but not able to get it done. So he's going with that big triple line. Little mistake there, jumped off the track. He's trying to get back on through the whoops. Little out of shape, but a nice job of recovering. Gets passed back by Rogan McIntosh, and McIntosh on the 142 is going to hold the spot. But crucially, what I was pointing out there was Carter going 3-4-3-4. I'm sorry, 3-4-4-3, because there's two different options there at the end through that long rhythm lane, which is huge on a 250F. That is not something that you normally see these guys able to bust out consistently. And Carter just made another mistake in the background. That might cost him another position. Here comes Rose on the 822. They're going to go bar to bar over the tunnel jump, and Carter goes a little deep, and that's going to give Rose the spot down the inside into third. So Jake Rose, Architect number 822, moves up, and he was trying to get that triple line. Ends up having to settle with the on-off triple single at the end. And Carter, I think, also messed up the triple quad at the beginning. That's kind of the key point of it. Oh, man, Rose thought was going over the bars there. And now Carter goes down in the background, but he stays on two wheels. And around goes Dale Mullins. Mullins on that 231 machine. By the way, shout out Dylan Copeland, who just won his last chance qualifier. He's in chat, and he was giving a shout out in his name in the game to Zach Commons, who I believe is also in the chat. I just saw his name pop up, so good to see Zach here tonight and Dylan making it in out of that last chance qualifier. Dalton Plessinger still holds the lead though. Rogan McIntosh trying to close up on him a little bit here. See what McIntosh is able to do with that number 61 machine just up the road of him. Get a pretty good indication on how tightly packed the field still is right now, as our two leaders seem to have a small gap established. I think third and fourth may have just gone down as well, and they just lost several positions as McIntosh also goes down out of second. That's going to allow Benjamin Saves up into the 2 spot. There's Carter into third, and Holmes moves into fourth just over McIntosh. Now Mills is fifth, Rose back to sixth, seventh for Spencer. Eighth is now Dale Mullins. Ninth for Robert Wilson, and 10th Ivan Medina. Up and over that finish line jump again. Got some nice dualies going on. Haven't decided yet if I'm going to do shots for dualies at the finale. Trying to keep it professional this year as the leader's down. Leader is down. Dalton Plessinger down at the end of the whoop section. Let's see if he remounts still out front. He does not. It's Braden Carter to the lead. Braden Carter, the new champion of the series, out front tonight in main event number 1. So Carter again trying to continue a dominant stretch in this 250 West division that is nearly unheard of in this class. Not yet halfway through main event number 1, and Carter in a really good position out front and electing to go for the safer options, 2, 2, 4, and then goes for the 3, and then he wants the 3 out there but doesn't quite get it. Dalton Plessinger checks in behind him now in second. Daniel Mills, which is Carter's teammate, has moved up to third. So it's a JDR 1-3 right now. Trevor Spencer. Right now he's running in the 4 spot. Trying to run down Daniel Mills, and the top 4 seem to have a small gap established. It's Riley Hewen on the CV number 335 who runs inside of the top 5 right now though. And Jake Rose, who's on the other side of the earth from Riley Hewen on the Architect number 822, runs back in 6th, but he's getting passed right now by Ben Seberg. So a couple Brits battling it out for the 6th spot. Seberg on that Rockstar Factory Husqvarna team. And Rose on the Architect team back here on the 822. You got a rider down. That was Hewen. Hewen, the Australian on the CV team, goes down, And through goes Richards. Blakely, I think, went through. Benjamin Saves was also in there. Dale Mullins. We got a little bit of a freight train going on here as they enter the whoops. And McIntosh just got a little out of shape. Dale Mullins is right there. Oh, and McIntosh did end up going down at the end of the whoops. There's Blakely. You can see Richards down the inside on the 1. Blakely here on the 21. And Mullins just off the front of them. But then ahead of them is still a good tight battle going on between not only Rose and Seberg, but now just ahead of them is Trevor Spencer. Trencer Spever. Oh, we got some contact. The Brits get into each other. Spencer slides on by. Benjamin Saves, goes around the outside of him. Seberg just gets over the Dragon's back as he loses a spot to Dale Mullins. And then side by side with Blakely trying to get down the inside. Richard's still here on the 1. Let's see what this looks like from the defending champion's perspective, as everybody's still really tight together here. Richards no longer the West Series champion, though, as I think Dale Mullins just went down. Look at the different options being used right here, and it's going to cost Seberg not only a position, but a couple more as he went down at the end there. And now Richards barrel rolls and goes down himself. And Blakely went down, entering the whoops ahead of him, so nobody can stay on 2 wheels right now. As we go back up front and just double check, Braden Carter still has the lead of this thing, because there's a lot of action going on behind him. So yes, it is still Carter out front. Dalton Plessinger still in second, not too far off of him, and Daniel Mills still in third. I got a little actual update from Aaron Plessinger a couple weeks ago. His brother Dalton here, obviously a really good pro sim in this game. And AP told me that Dalton was going to hook him up with a PC and he was going to get back on the sim grind during this quarantine. Now, with the rumored Supercross potentially returning in May, that may have halted that effort, but would be cool to see AP back grinding sim. I know he used to play not a ton, but frequently enough that we'd see him around, and I told him when he gets back on, we'll have to do some cool videos or something like that together, and he was pretty down for that. So Dalton Plessinger being a swell brother, giving his brother a computer to play the game. So it's still Carter out front, couple of minutes left on the clock. Go back and see Benjamin Saves. Trevor Spencer just slid out, actually, and missing the triple phase there. Riley Hewen trying to catch him. Hewen, Medina, Richards. And a bit of a 3-rider freight train right here. Then we go back to Dale Mullins, who's just ahead of Kevin Gonzalez. Zoe Cross, Brandon Holmes, Hunter Braun, Chase Blakely, Rogan McIntosh, Jake Rose, Ben Seberg, and Tyler Shields. Tyler Shields is in 18th, but look at this freight train. I mean, he could get up to only 2 straightaways ahead of him right now is 5th, Trevor Spencer. Look at it. You see the map in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. How many people are still close together? This is crazy. See if we can find a nice little close battle here. Holmes, Blakely messing up the whoops. Hunter Braun messing it up. McIntosh trying to go over and get around basically everybody with a great run into the whoops there. So McIntosh on the move a little bit. Got to move back here. Seberg down the inside, almost makes the pass and then backflips and he lands it. Hell yeah, Ben Seberg somehow kept that thing together. And in the process, lost a couple positions, but it's a lot better than crashing and losing 7 positions, which he surely would have done had he actually fallen off the bike right there. Kevin Gonzalez, one of the men to move on through and trying to make the move on McIntosh. We also have Blakely just up the road of him. Got Brandon Holmes up here, Zoe Cross, Ivan Medina, Craig Richards, Riley Hewen, and Trevor Spencer. Spencer just trying to hold off Hewen his last couple laps. Hewen putting on a blazing charge here. And white flag is not yet waving. So this is a battle for 5th. 2 laps to go this time by. And down the inside, Hewen goes. I thought for sure that Spencer was tripling on the outside, and I was going to wait out those lines played out mid-rhythm. But in the end, it was a fairly easy maneuver down the inside there for Hewen, who is just using a different option. Almost got that trip a little bit wrong. Goodness, these guys are making some mistakes entering this whoop section. It's a curious one too, because so many guys are having to go over table, double, single into the whoops and getting an awful drive. I wonder when we start seeing guys just play it safe, go on, off, and just kind of scrub that double out. So at the very least, they get a clean run to the whoops every lap instead of trying to make sure they get a blazing fast run every lap. Not sure if that's something we'll see these guys entertain or not, but white flag is waving out front. Braden Carter on his way to a relatively easy main event win here in race number 1. Up and over the triple jump one last time. Little flick for the audience. That would be you folks at home here tonight. And down to the finish line jump he comes. Main event number 1 in Las Vegas belongs to Braden Carter. His teammate Daniel Mills follows him over the line in second, so 1-2 for JDR. Don Plessinger looks like he should have third. Riley Hewen would like a word with him, but he's going to run out of time. And Richards, defending champ, has snuck into the top 5 here, and he's going to try to get around fellow Australian Hewen with a turn to go. Up over the tunnel jump, but Hewen gets down a clean and gets the last turn fine. So 4th for Hewen, 5th for Richards. Saves got around Trevor Spencer there, and Saves is going to hold on for 6th, it looks like. Oh, big crash. McIntosh, that's going to cost him some spots. He was inside of the top 10. There goes Seberg. That looks like Gonzalez going by. That might be it. It will be, because Medina is not going to get there. And it was indeed Gonzalez who went through and moved into the top 10. McIntosh comes across 11th. Medina will finish up in 12th. And 13th, last guy on the lead lap, is Brandon Holmes. There he is over the line. Let's take a look at cuts just real quick. Looks like Saves lost a spot there to Trevor Spencer. So Trevor Spencer moves up to 6th. Plessinger, Mills, Carter stayed the same. What happened behind our lead lap finishers? It was Hunter Braun, who finished up 14th, 15th for Tyler Shields, 16th Chase Blakely, 17th was Alex Heckman, 18th for Dale Mullins, 19th Jake Rose, and 20th was Robert Wilson. 21st, Mudge, 22nd, Luke Sullivan. Sullivan actually only finished 9 laps, so he DNF'd this one. But it was, of course, champion Braden Carter picking up the win here, 250 main event number 1. Next up, 450 time, main event number 1 coming up for the big 4 bangers. And a championship fight in that class that is really going to be interesting to keep an eye on here down the stretch. Oh, Carter land that. Oh, that was almost sick. He clipped somebody taking off right there. And just a little 360 actually. That was pretty cool. All right, so like I said, 450 main event coming up next. I like that there's 2 Spencer Turleys and a guy named Strava that are in this race. Oh, man. Oh, man, that was funny. Okay. How's chat doing? How we doing tonight, everybody? Almost an hour into the stream. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday night, April 22nd, 2020. World news is starting to become a little less bleak by the day, so that's, I guess, a somewhat positive thing. And, you know, we may be racing Supercross before long. A lot of things are starting to roll that direction a little bit, I'd say. Is it going to happen for sure? I don't know. But, you know, Major League Baseball, they're trying to play a season. Obviously, the NFL is going to have to start thinking about it soon here because they're starting to get into, you know, training camp area. And, you know, they already had the combine and they're having the draft soon. But these sports leagues are trying to get stuff done. And Supercross, just like the same, you know, with NASCAR and some of these other racing leagues, are also trying to have things happen. So I'm told we'll know some more news here soon, potentially about what's going to happen with Supercross moving forward, but we'll have to wait and see for sure. BH Blackhawk 50 is doing good. Good to see. Wyatt Anderson wants to know if there are any MX Sim racers getting paid. That's a good question. I think some people, the teams, I know for a while teams were like, if you won a race, the team gave you $5. Like that was kind of a thing that was going on, but not really. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. There's not. I mean, if it's money, it's just like a, quick little donation or something like that. But not too sure. Weege in the booth is a talking point I have with him frequently. He has discussed how he is concerned that he won't know enough about the game to talk about it. But I told him when he comes out here and, he stayed at my house before, and I'm sure that at some point he'll need to do it again because there's a lot of stuff that happens out here on the West Coast. But I told him if he's ever out here and we're commentating these sim races on a night that he's here, he's going to have to hop in the booth. I'm not going to let him go for that one. So, and he's like, all right, well, that's good with me. So. Splay Saelis here from all over Spain, although that's probably Saeas or Calles. There's everybody in the 450 main event tonight. Heavy hitters. And of course, Jeremy Siebold trying to win a championship. He could clinch tonight, folks. It's a bit of a long shot, but he could. Yes, Zach, I do own the SYS team. I don't really run it. That's more of like, say, Alex Heckman crutches it with kind of managing all that stuff. But yes, I do actually own and ride technically for them. All right, Triple Crown time, folks. Championship on the line in the 450 division, and a lot at stake for some of these guys here tonight in Las Vegas. Let's go racing. It's main event number 1 of the Triple Crown. Taking a look at Haley, who lined up outside of the box, and this has been huge for starts here tonight. It's Leclerc who gets to the corner first, but Haley's in a good spot as Logan Leitzel takes the RaceFactoryGaming.com Whole Shot Award. Colton Mitchell, Haley right there, but Leclerc goes in and kills Haley in the second corner and causes a huge stack up. No question about it. Leclerc just went to the top of the berm and took Haley out of the third place position. No idea what that was for. I'm not sure if there's a beef brewing between them, but at the very least, that was peculiar. It gives Mitchell a huge opportunity here as he's running in second early on. He's got Walter Gebhardt right behind him, though, and Gebhardt's been fast this last couple of weeks here. But it's Logan Leitzel out front. Mad Cape number 18, no longer in contention for that East Championship, which will wrap up next week in Salt Lake City. Coming out firing here in Las Vegas in the 450 class. Little case there, and then another triple into the corner. Teammates. Doesn't look like they're teammates, but they are. They're System Decal teammates. They've gone back and forth between these blue and white machines this year. Both of them have won races. Mitchell with his second win of the season last week there at East Rutherford. I'm sorry, at Foxborough, not East Rutherford. At Foxborough last week, and Gebhardt, in his own right, picked up 3 consecutive wins before that and his 5th win of the season in the process. So Gebhardt's been blazing fast, but Colton Mitchell catching fire here at the right time in the season. And 18 points down in the championship. Needs kind of a miracle here at Vegas to make stuff go his way. But right now, not only is Haley pretty far back here, but Siebold is also a little ways down, running in the 9 spot. On board with Siebold, just kind of watching how he works right now. Looks like the top 9 riders have opened up a bit of a gap on the rest of the field. Kind of a lot of chaos still going on further down the field at the moment. But I do know Jack Haley is just up the road of these guys. I think he's actually in 5th spot right now. Just at the front of this group, you can see just up the road of him, definitely Fjellberg. I think that's also perhaps Ash Deering. But if Fjellberg is trying to jump over here around the outside, and that was a Integrity rider stacked up in the corner. Was that Smith perhaps? You can see all these 450 guys just getting a massive drive through the whoops, going outside and tripling onto the start straight. And Haley was down. Jack Haley's down on the start straight. Big cost and points right there as he's trying to get going straightened out. And it wasn't Smith, I apologize. It was actually Reed Young who was getting up from a crash just ahead of these guys. You can still see Siebel with the red plates there just behind Fjellberg. Dickerson just up the road of these guys. Ash Deering. Walter Gebhardt, Colton Mitchell, but it's still Logan Leitzel, almost 4 minutes into this thing, out front and putting in really solid times. Gets this triple in clean, another triple here, smooth as butter out front right now. But this has not necessarily been a problem for Leitzel this year. The speed has been there. It's lacked in consistency when he needed it the most. He would have bad races, and that ultimately cost him a shot at the championship in the East Division this year. So Leitzel still out front. Colton Mitchell, who enters the night second in the championship standings, 18 points back of Jeremy Siebel, and having just picked up a win last week at Foxborough, is now looking to potentially go to the lead there, as he makes a mistake and has to really slow down in the whoops. You can see how big of a difference it is to not blitz those right there. So he has to go back to the drawing board a little bit, but Leitzel was hung up in the corner. I think that may have been Brock Pearson kind of hung up right there. So battle for the lead brewing here. Leitzel on the Mad Cape number 18, just out front of the system decal number 6 of Colton Mitchell, and they're running these all-white get-ups, which kind of makes them look a little bit like teammates, but they're not. They're not teammates, different teams. In fact, different bike models as well. Mitchell gets that rhythm lane really clean. Triple over, triple in, getting a drive in the whoops, gonna go outside. Down the inside goes Leitzel, but can Mitchell get the drive, tripling onto the start straight, trying to get that power down, but Leitzel just barely holds the lead for the time being. Great action here in Vegas. Main event number 1 of the 450 Triple Crown, the 16th round of the series for the 450 class. Into the tunnel jump one more time. Just peeked the halfway point here. So Leitzel now goes triple, gets the quad clean. Does he go quad again? He does, and then triple into that corner, but Mitchell does the same. Both of them matching each other out front and then getting this over table triple into the whoops clean. But Leitzel likes this inside. He's got a great line in the whoops that works out for him and tucks inside. He got it a little bit wrong this time, though. Can he get the power down, or does Mitchell have a line? Mitchell to the lead in Vegas. Down the inside goes the number 6. And I'll tell you what, he has definitely caught fire at the right time. Colton Mitchell out front. Now does Leitzel have a response for him? Or can Mitchell open up a small gap, try to run away with it? And they both funnel outside. Go for the triple in. Mitchell a little short, not going to get the preferred line, but neither does Leitzel because he has to check up for him. They're almost side by side as they go into lappers, and Mitchell goes for the quad, slides into the Davalos bales, but somehow stays on 2 wheels, and that was critical right there. How he saved that, I have no idea. He was panic revving from the takeoff to the landing and somehow corralled the 6 system decal machine back together just to slide into the bales and not get stuck in the process. That was really close right there. And instead, Leitzel goes back to the lead in this main event number 1. Mitchell Dickerson now running in third, and Siebold is charged all the way up to fourth. Bryce Whelan's right behind him in fifth. Fjellberg, Deering, Leclerc down in the corner. Jack Haley is watching this championship slip from his grasps at the moment. Running in eighth right now. Still in a position where he's all right, though, because Siebold is only running in the fourth spot. Remember, with the Siebold fourth, all Mitchell needs to do is finish 12th or better, and Haley needs to finish 11th or better to stay alive going into the final round of the championship. But with 3 main events to run, this fourth actually could turn into a win eventually with a couple more wins here tonight. Isaiah Dickerson, who is deep in the midst of a championship battle with his teammate Colby Eagland and fellow racer Dominic Tiberino on the East Championship, which we'll see wrapped up next week. Running a solid third right now. Oh, but he just tucked the front wheel just as I switched away from him. Back on him now, and we see Siebold is getting a drive to pull alongside. Let's see. Oh, I think Dickerson is letting him have it there. He backed out of the throttle pretty early down the start straight and has no response there as Siebold takes over the third place position. Could be just a case where Dickerson trying everything he can do not to be banned for the final round of East. So can't fault him there. But it does allow Siebold into third, and now he's only 8 seconds behind Mitchell, who's 10 seconds behind Leitzel out front. Leitzel checks in on to lap number 12. I believe these guys are going 12 minutes in a lap. Right now, Leitzel in a very good position to pick up the first main event win here tonight at the Triple Crown. Mitchell looks like he's just trying to settle into a good second and get some good points because he does not want to have Siebold go on by him. Take those points away. Tripling back onto the start straight is Siebold. Behind him, Dickerson with Bryce Whelan closing in a little bit. Bryce Whelan on the number 34 BPC ride. Looking up the road a bit and sees Isaiah Dickerson just ahead of him. Up over the tunnel jump once more. We're now 10 minutes in, so I think that now shows us that it is actually a 12-minute and 1 lap race in this one. As it's supposed to be, but sometimes I know Race Factory does things a little bit different. Down the inside, Whelan makes the pass on Dickerson. A mistake for the 26 at the end of the rhythm section cost him. And now the number 34 Canadian rider goes on by. Does Dickerson have a response as he's trying to get the power down onto the start straight? As he peek inside again, this is one of those cases like the 250 class where they have to open up the sweeper just a little bit. Dickerson down the inside, tries a block pass. Whelan reads him well, though. Let's see if Dickerson has another move. He runs into the back of him and goes down by himself. So Whelan now gets away from that situation. Back here, Leclerc, Holm, Root, Young, Smith, Fjellberg, and then Haley. Haley is now running in 12th. And as we know, Siebold, who's running in 3rd, Haley needs to finish 9th overall here tonight to stay alive for the championship. If Siebold ends up 3rd overall, which he's running in this race right now, of course, overalls are going to be swaying throughout the night. Reed Young getting passed there by Jeremy Smith. White flag is now waving out front. And Leitzel's gone down. Colton Mitchell's trying to jump to the lead, and he's going to take it. Colton Mitchell out front once again. And he's trying to settle back in here, not do anything crazy. Jumping in behind him there is, that is 34, 20, 24 maybe? Yeah, it's a 24, Colby Eaglin, the other of the MV Films riders battling for that East Championship. Of course, his teammate Dickerson doing a lot better job up here right now. But Eaglin down in 19th, has that red plate with 1 round to go in Salt Lake next week. And Mitchell, with a few turns to go, might pick up this win here. Trying to pick up right where he left off a week ago in Foxborough with a win there. He's going to start the night off perfect here in Vegas with a win here in main event number 1. It is Colton Mitchell. Leitzel coughs it up at the end, ends up second. He'll be disappointed with that. And Siebold's trying to get going just as Dickerson closes up on him. So Dickerson could just get close here at the line and make it close on cuts, but he slides out, ends up 1.16 seconds down. Probably going to be too much because cuts haven't seemed to be a huge factor here tonight just yet. Whelan ends up top 5 though. The solid ride there on the BPC ride. Leclerc on the Rockstar Husky comes across in 6th. 7th will be Adam Holm. 8th for Hunter Root. 9th, Jeremy Smith. 10th, Reed Young. And 11th right now is Jack Haley, but he's trying to follow these guys to the line, maybe get them on cuts as well. But 11th is all he can muster here. Dennis Fjellberg comes across 12th. Thomas Wilcox will end up 13th. Tyler Lang ends up 14th in this one. 15th for Ritzler. 16th Deering. 17th goes to Spencer Turley. And Walter Gebhardt, who was up front early, is now down in 18th spot. So something fell apart there for Giblets. Not sure what exactly happened. There he goes over the line. Let's take a look. And oh, Siebold did lose it to Dickerson on cuts. Siebold had 4.4 seconds of cuts, and it cost him 3rd in this race, dropping him down to 4th. Mitchell with the win and a Siebold 4th. That's actually kind of a big deal right there. Mitchell's going to be happy about that one, I think. As the night goes on, a 4th is still a good way to start your night here in the Triple Crown. But at least 1 more points between them. All right, now we're headed into main events number 2. 250 West main event number 2 coming up first, of course. And we will see whether or not Braden Carter can keep things going or if I run out of virtual memory. I think the second one is exactly what's going to happen first. Whoopsie doodles. Just make sure my graphics didn't switch up here. All right, perfect. There, still fine. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Goodness. All right, we'll connect. And while I'm connecting, give me 1 second. And I'm back. All right. All right. Hopefully everybody's doing well here tonight. Glad to see everybody again showing up in troves. 240 people hanging out. Really appreciate the support. You guys are the bomb diddy bomb da bang da bang bitty bitty. You know, back in my racing days in this game, this makes me sound hella old saying that. I used to actually enjoy when parade laps would last like a couple minutes just because I felt like I needed that one extra, I don't know, kind of deep breath before the racing started where you felt the controller in your hand, you kind of got into the groove instead of coming in kind of cold turkey. But we always restarted quickly because there wasn't a streamer, or there was, but the streamer kind of was like, didn't have all the skins and stuff like that. So we'd restart quickly back in the day, and I was always like, man, I wish we had a longer parade lap. And now I am the reason we have long parade laps because it takes me so long to load into this game with the amount of skins that I have in my folder. But that's all right. John, my next race examination I'm going to be doing is Foxborough 2018. But before that comes out, because I think that's going to come out on Friday, hopefully, I've got a really, really, really cool video coming out on RacerX tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be Friday for sure. Some of you may have noticed I disappeared from social media and a couple things like that. I worked my balls off on the video that you'll see tomorrow or Friday. And I hope you guys like it at least. I hope it wasn't all for not. Holy smokes, it takes so long to load into these. Yeah, my night's going good. Thanks for asking, Black Hawk. I hope that your night is going well. And I did see that SoCal tracks are opening back up. I know Glen Helen was reopening, and I'm actually going to film with Chris Kiefer tomorrow at a location I won't say, so you don't follow me there. But yeah, probably going to do a little bit of riding tomorrow, so excited for that. There we go. All right, Jesus. Yeah, I know, Seabold. Half the night is Kellen loading. You're darn right it is. But it actually wouldn't take me that long to load if Scram files didn't exist. Scram files are the killer of all killer. It takes so long to load them because they just have to. Yeah, we won't get into that. Been over that 1,000 times probably. So. All right, folks. Main event number 2 of the 250 West Championship. Triple Crown from Las Vegas. It's the 9th round of their championship. Let's go racing in the middle main here at Vegas. Good run for McIntosh, but he gets clipped from the outside, and I can't tell who that was coming in, but it is Braden Carter who picks up the whole shot. JDR 32, 31 to Mills right behind him. Boy, oh boy, does this look like a lot of what we saw in that first main event. Daniel Mills has come here to play tonight, and if it wasn't for his pesky teammate, might have a shot at winning this thing. I'm kidding. Mills won the second round earlier this year at St. Louis, and he could have a shot at winning here tonight as he's trying to put pressure on his teammate out front. Behind him, though, Ivan Medina's coming into the mix, and he's going down the inside, trying to get this triple on down the inside, and he might just well get it done as Mills made a mistake. And behind them comes Ben Seberg. He's going to move into third. So Medina up to second. Seberg down. And oh man, Zoe Cross went down. Brandon Holmes went down. The longest nose wheelie ever there for Luke Sullivan, but he kept it up. And Riley Hewen's trying to come through in the background as well. And Hewen shows him a wheel. Oh, is Hewen still going to get this triple? Oh man, that's ballsy from the inside. He actually got it cleaner than Sullivan did on the outside. Oh, and then down goes Sullivan in the background. Seberg gets hung up. Holmes is there. I see Gonzalez, McIntosh. We also see Zoe Cross. And McIntosh just went down. Everybody having problems early on, but it's Braden Carter out front. I'm curious to see if Carter, who is now the champ in this series, decides to go with a one dub next week because he has the championship wrapped up already. So, I mean, technically speaking, he could. It's a showdown. I've seen people do it before. It's not the worst thing ever to run the one dub before you've actually been, like, given it. But Carter, kind of already in cruise control. Medina, Daniel Mills, Michael Mudge. Really good run here for the 761. Trevor Spencer behind him in 5th. Riley Hewen. Zoe Cross. Kevin Gonzalez. Ben Seberg. Luke Sullivan. Benjamin Saves. Brandon Holmes. Tyler Shields just ahead of Rogan McIntosh. Dalton Plessinger with a much worse ride this time through on the 61. Hunter Braun. Chase Blakely. Craig Richards. Robert Wilson. Jake Rose, a couple guys back here. I mean, this whole group right here, this 4-pack really was pretty good in the first main event, specifically Craig Richards, defending champion. Thanks for the update in chat, Kyle Miller, our on-track reporter. Kyle Miller let me know that Carter was actually going to run the 1W tonight, but elected not to out of respect of Craig Richards, who is still the actual champion of the series. It hasn't officially closed just yet. Richards won the championship last year in 2019. So let's go back up front a little bit and kind of see how things are shaking down. It's still Carter, Medina, Mills, but a little bit of a tighter action going on here between excuse me, Michael Mudge, Trevor Spencer, as Spencer gets passed by Hewen, and then Hewen gets the 2-3. Well, he cased it. Oh, I thought Trevor Spencer was going to have a go at it in the whoops. He got a great drive and elected to back out of it. He's still on the inside, but Hewen getting his triple onto the start straight is going to get the better run. Hewen now setting his sights on Michael Mudge. Oh man, Michael Mudge somehow still on the bike. I thought he was actually going to full-blown save that, not have a tip over. But that could have been even worse. He could have been cartwheeling down the track. So Mudge regroups. Daniel Mills, Ivan Medina. Braden Carter still out front cruising, just put Alex Heckman a lap down. Kind of tightening up a little bit for second, not too much, but Daniel Mills just did a 54.7 while Medina did a 54 flat, so I'm just dead wrong. That's not even true at all. He's actually pulling away right now from Mills, but it looks closer on screen. And now it's definitely closer as Medina makes a small mistake on board with Mills here in 3rd. Doolies over the triple, kind of just barely saw Medina out of the corner of your right side eye there. The tunnel jump, and Mills continues to swing wide so he can scrub this finish line jump a little bit harder. And inside 2, triple on, off, goes for the triple here, and then triple single into the corner. So much different lines than what we see in the 450 class. And we know Carter can do those 450 lines out front, but I'm not sure whether or not he's doing them consistently. Mills again electing to go inside here. Look at it, he gets pretty close. I think that line is going to work eventually. It seems like he claws back time just a little bit there on Medina, who, by the way, Medina is putting in a really solid effort here in this second main event. Over halfway through this one. Oh, and he stacks up in the corner, and Mills hits him and falls off the bike. Unfortunate there for Mills on the 31 as Hewen goes by. Here comes Dalton Plessinger, who is a lap down, so Trevor Spencer is going to try to make the move, and he will. Spencer down the inside of Mills. A little case there from Mills as Spencer ends up coughing the spot back up. Michael Mudge with Kevin Gonzalez right on his tail feathers back here. 3.5 minutes and a lap left to go. Different line Gonzalez, but it's not going to work out the way he was hoping. He was trying to go quad 3-3. Ends up having to literally double his way through, but it actually kind of worked out because Mudge went down. If he was right behind him, that could have been a little bit more of a close call. But now he has to worry about Ben Seberg, who closed up a lot in that rhythm lane while Gonzalez was kind of struggle busting his way through. And the number 38 Rockstar Husky machine is right there. going into turn number 1, the sweeper, and now just goes inside, just makes the move. I'm not sure if there's any kind of British lag contact there. It seemed like Gonzalez kind of awkwardly stood up mid-corner, but something kind of going wrong there for the 33. Seberg over the tunnel jump there. And so he goes 2-3 on, off, 3-3-1 through this section. Again, different lines being all done throughout as Spencer goes down at the end of the rhythm. Seberg goes around, as does Kevin Gonzalez on the 33. Through the whoops they go. Riley Hewen has Daniel Mills just up the road of him, so Mills has moved back into third here after losing a couple positions with that crash with Ivan Medina. And Braden Carter is still leading. It's not a big lead, though. He may have had a couple mistakes. Let's actually take a look at lap times. Did a 103.1 flat last time by. Drops it back down to a 54.3, so clearly must have had a fall-off crash at some point the lap prior to this. And you can see he's going 2-2 quad, triple, and then triple into the corner. And the reason I think that option's maybe a little bit better if you can get it is you're carrying more speed through the end of the rhythm section. You have to slow down a lot to do that 3-3-1, whereas Carter gets that clean 3 out into the corner. I think, although you lose a little bit of time not tripling straight onto the table, you carry just a little bit more speed at the end that makes up for what you missed out on the beginning. And I think it's just a slightly better line, in my opinion, but I'm not out there on the racetrack, and these guys probably have a clearer idea of it themselves. But it's probably also a case where that quad line really isn't too easy on a 250F. Oh, rider down. Carter goes around him nicely. Man, Medina is not too far behind with just over a minute and a lap left to go in this thing as he crosses the finish line jump. Daniel Mills, Ben Seberg, Riley Hewen, Gonzalez, Spencer down again. Trevor Spencer is down, and through goes Michael Mudge. Oh my goodness, they almost made big contact. Mudge is not going to get the triple. Spencer does. Oh, but he yards it off the track. So Spencer goes down. There goes Sullivan by. See if anybody else passes Trevor Spencer. They will. That's McIntosh and Zoe Cross also going by. Benjamin Saves is trying to make the move, so Trevor Spencer has lost about 6 spots in the matter of a couple corners here. Yeah, he'll be kicking himself for that one there. Oh, a little mistake there for Benjamin Saves allows Spencer to go back by him, though. So immediately gets one back. Spencer goes 2-4. Wow, so he did something completely different I've never seen there either. Went 2-2-4-4-2 through that instead of a 2-2-4-3-3. A lot of different options in that rhythm lane, man. There's just... in this 250 class, it doesn't seem like there's one line that these guys are all using that works. Maybe the most consistent seems to be 2-3 on off, 3-3-1, I guess. Gonzalez just lapped Alex Heckman. Riley Hewen just lapped Dale Mullins. And Seberg still trying to chase down Ivan Medina as Daniel Mills has moved back into second. And white flag will be waving this time by for Braden Carter, who is trying to sweep the Triple Crown here. One lap to go. And if he can hold on here, puts himself in a really good spot for the night, but he's trying to avoid hitting Craig Richards, who's all over the gap there in the middle of the rhythm lane. And Daniel Mills with another second. I mean, at the very least, Daniel Mills is putting himself in a position that if Carter can't pick up the win here tonight, Daniel Mills might just steal the glory a bit from him. Getting a little hucked in the whoops there, and whoa, has to not get ran over there by, who's that, the 217? 207? I can't quite see the number there. Once again, main event number 2, it's been all Braden Carter out front, and he's going to let Brandon Holmes have his lap back as he comes over the tunnel jump one more time. Main event number 2 in Las Vegas belongs to Braden Carter. Daniel Mills behind him. He'll take second again. Medina comes across in third. Ben Seberg will pick up 4th. And Riley Hewen ends up just crossing the line in 5th ahead of Kevin Gonzalez here. Ooh, Luke Sullivan was down and Zoe Cross just got into him. Lot of changing right here. Trevor Spencer goes by. Zoe Cross also went by. Michael Mudge made the move. Zoe Cross with a dirty scrub on the triple. Does he get a good line here? Oh, he does. Big mistake for Spencer, and Cross goes down. Cross going down, trying to get by him. Michael Mudge has to go off the track now to hit Cross. Luke Sullivan goes by. McIntosh goes by. But Cross is going to be afforded a little bit of a break there as Benjamin Saves also went down in the background, or else Cross would be outside of, 11th he ends up. Oh my gosh, he's got to be disappointed with that one. Saves ends up in 12th, and Holmes, who got that lap back, does not gain a position in the end, and he'll end up last rider a lap down in on the lead lap in 13th, I should say. McIntosh got around Sullivan on cuts for 9th. And that was it. Everything stayed the same inside of the top 10. Let's look outside of Holmes here. It was Blakely 14th, a lap down. Craig Richards 15th. Tyler Shields was the man on the 217. We saw there in 16th. 17th, Hunter Braun on the 243. Alex Heckman ends up 18th. 19th for Dale Mullins. 20th for Robert Wilson. 21st, Dalton Plessinger. And 22nd, 6 laps completed, a DNF in this one as well for Jake Rose. Well, we are now literally halfway through the night of racing here. There are 3 races complete, 3 races to go, with 450 main event number 2 coming up next here in Las Vegas. I'd love to hear your guys' picks here. Who do you think is going to win now that we're 2 of these main events done in that 250 class and only 1 main event down in the 450 class? Who have you got your money on tonight? Although I don't know if anybody's putting money down on this per se, but who at least are you picking to win this race tonight? And of course, Alex Heckman out here, not sure if he's given $5 every time people get a hole shot, or if he's given a collective hole shot winner tonight or something, but ATE Studios always backing up with some solid support here of not only the live stream, but everybody racing in the Race Factory Gaming competitions year round, so big shout out to him. Track walks will be coming back hopefully soon. Like I said a little bit earlier, I've just been freaking swamped with work, and it kind of got a little busier this week, I would say, particularly, but track walks will come back soon enough. I just, yeah. I literally, yesterday, I worked from 7 a.m. till about 11:30 p.m. yesterday. So, yeah, it was a long day. All right, Effort says he's just doing Moto 3 hole shots, which I can live with. Thank you, Kyle Miller, by the way, in chat for giving me the update that it's Carter on 2 points, Mills on 4 points, and Medina on 11 points, the current running order in this class. I'll be sure to write that down right now, actually. Sweet. All right, just in time as well. Zach Commons being the absolute cheerleader of a lifetime. We got the MB Films boys posing here for a team picture. Everybody smile. Cheese. I'm not sure what they're doing, but I don't mind it. It's always good fun in the end. Yeah, Beast Gamer 0529, you have to apply for a license. So if you're trying to sign up for like novice nationals and you don't have a license, you can't sign up. Same thing with trying to sign up for amateur nationals. You don't have a license, you can't sign up. All right, time to go racing once again. Main event number 2 here at Las Vegas. Ooh, oh, Leitzel and Seabolt down. Leitzel and Seabolt both down on entry into turn number 1, and the whole shot goes to Gebhardt. Kohenauer right behind him. I think that's Holmes sitting there in third early on. I see Smith is up here. Whelan's got a good start. Copeland also towards the front, so Zach Coleman just took his shirt off. Colton Mitchell's also up here. So Mitchell, who won the first main event, has got a good start. He's in about 6th, 7th-ish. Deering, Hunter Root, Jack Haley's just outside of the top 10 as Whelan goes down. That's actually going to give Haley top 10. I think he just moved to 9th around Root as well. As they all funnel into this first rhythm section, Mitchell does not get the preferred line. And, oh, does he go down? No, he stays on 2 wheels, but he does lose a spot to Ash Deering in the process. Meanwhile, out front, Walter Gebhardt, who was 18th in race 1, leads race number 2 right now. Gebhardt, Kohenauer, Holm, Smith, Deering, Mitchell. And Mitchell's got to be the one to watch here for sure. Especially with Seabolt buried in the field. If this is a bad race for Seabolt, as we got guys down. Copeland down. Zach Cummins putting his shirt back on. He is frustrated beyond belief right now. Reed Young peeking down the inside of Thomas Wilcox. And Seabolt 19th. Yeah, if Seabolt, let's just say for this sake, Seabolt ends up in this one outside of the top 10. I mean, with a 4th in the first one, I think maybe at best he could hope for a top 5, but if Mitchell can win this one again, or at least finish 2nd with, Gebhardt, who finished 18th in that first one, kind of being a non-factor. If Mitchell wins here tonight, Seabolt ends up with a 5th or so. I don't know, man. This is going to be a really tight championship battle going down the stretch as Mitchell would gain. Oh, man, Eaglin almost got into the back of him there. But if Mitchell wins, and let's just say Seabolt gets 5th place in this one, Mitchell would gain 8 points towards the championship. He's currently 18 points down, so you can imagine only 10 points in it at the final round. Definitely going to be a lot more to play for. And that is exactly what he's trying to do right now, as he just narrowly makes the move on Jeremy Smith, and Smith also got passed by Colby Eagland, who's got a better start this time around. 4th now for Mitchell. Kohenauer going through the whoops has dropped back to 3rd as Adam Holm has moved up to 2nd. So Holm into 2nd, but it's all eyes on Walter Gebhardt out front. A system decal rider with an abysmal first main event, one he'll want to forget, now has a bit between his teeth and is absolutely flying. Let's go on board with Mitchell here, is in 4th right now. Finish line jump, swings wide, gets the triple in, and still goes for the quad, and goes for the quad again. Man, that's when you get that first little case, just a slight hiccup there. I think it's pretty nuts to still go for the quad after that, but he did. Get a good run through the whoops here. You can see Kohenauer and Holm just up the road. If Mitchell can move into 2nd, that would be huge. Those two just trying to battle with each other, have no idea probably that Mitchell's closing in. Or maybe they do. I'm not 100% sure about that one. You can see Mitchell is just absolutely putting a charge on here, though, doing everything he can to get this thing close. We'll go back and find Jeremy Seabolt in just a minute. But it's just mesmerizing to watch these guys put in the laps, and Mitchell gets the quad triple again. Does he get around Kohenauer? No, he slides out. Same spot that he slid out in the first race. That did not cost him the victory, though. And Eaglin has moved around him. He's moved up into 3rd. So Eaglin, like I said, with a turnaround right here. Mitchell now has to deal with Jeremy Smith. Ash Deering closing down. Logan Leitzel's back here. We got Wilcox and Leclerc side by side. Now, they have always just been the bestest of friends for sure, as Leclerc's trying to get a move here on the 27. Look at how far inside Leclerc goes here. And he still pops that triple. That's insane, that kind of corner speed. Whelan. Then Hunter Root back here. And then Jeremy Seabolt ahead of Jack Haley. Jack Haley is literally watching the championship go away from him right now as Seabolt moves up into 13th. ahead of him on the racetrack right now. This is uncharacteristic from the defending champ right now. 19 points down entering. He needs kind of a miracle in the last race to keep his championship hopes alive at this point. And Siebold, for what it's worth, has put on a great charge. Just got around Wilcox, just made the move en route. That puts him up to 11th. And seeing nothing but points click his way because 411, a lot better than a 419 or something like that. Route peeking inside, didn't quite get it done. Siebold, like Leclerc, goes so far inside, still able. These 450s just have so much torque. Jack Haley. Oh, Hunter Root off the track a little bit there. Corrals it together. So Whelan just got passed by Leclerc. Leclerc a bit on a charge here, a bit I should say. Leitzel, Deering, Kohenauer, Smith, then Mitchell. Look at this freight train right here. We've got, oh, Gebhardt's lost the lead. It's Holm, Eaglin, Gebhardt, Mitchell. Top four very close together. In fact, let's go on board with Mitchell because he can see all this right in front of him right now. You can see just up the road Gebhardt in the red jersey. That yellow jersey is Eaglin, and that green bike going the other way was Holm. Holm just now hitting the tunnel jump. Now, just ahead of these guys, you can just barely see him, a little speck there in the distance. But it's, I don't know, man, maybe 2 seconds in it for the front four here. Let's see Mitchell in traffic, still going for the line, and Holm has coughed up the lead. To the lead goes Gebhardt again around the outside of Colby Eagland. Gebhardt leads, Eagland second, Mitchell now into third. Mitchell just all out of shape in that whoop section, but just has so much speed that he's already hitting the next whoop by the time he gets a little sideways. Look at how close this group is. Not only the lead group, we've got lappers galore mixed in, and basically about, I don't know, like 5 through 12 maybe behind this, coming in through that first rhythm lane right now. It is so close. The other side of the track has nearly nobody on the track right now because of how close this little grouping is. That is great action to watch on board from Mitchell as he makes a move on Eagland. Eagland tucks the front wheel and Mitchell goes by in a second. This will for sure give him a solid overall lead, and Gebhardt goes down, so Mitchell is back out front again in Vegas. It's fallen his way for sure. And oh man, Copeland gets stood up, but Copeland's a lap down. So here we go. We've got Eagland, Holm right here, Kohenauer coming into the whoops. Jeremy Smith is coming out of nowhere. He just makes a twofer pass, goes up to third, and then Holm goes down at the end of the whoops. So Leitzel goes by, Deering goes by as Holm gets going. That's Pearson. There's Leclerc. You see Siebold going down the inside. Look at how close everybody still is, especially in this group up here, which Jeremy Smith just came out of nowhere. He's up in third now. What? It's Mitchell, Eagland, Smith, Kohenauer, Leitzel, Deering. All so close together still. And you can see Leclerc just coming on the start straight in the background. He's not too far off this group. As out of the way goes Dylan Copeland. Logan Leitzel trying to make a move down the inside of Leitzel, and I think Eagland just went down. He did. Eagland back to 6th now. Oh, Leitzel for sure. Oh, I thought he was casing that. Trying to go after Smith. So it's Mitchell, Smith, Leitzel, Kohenauer, Deering now the top 5, and Deering trying to run down the number 13 as well. Oh, and then Smith goes down. Smith went down. Eagland goes back by. Here comes Leclerc trying to make the move on Smith. All the while, Siebold is looking at points in front of him as Mitchell's pulling away out front. Leclerc goes for a move on Smith and runs into the back of him. Now Gebhardt is right behind Siebold. Wonder if team tactics come into play here. Gebhardt, the teammate to race leader Colt Mitchell, who, like we've mentioned all night, is trying to claw a championship out of the grasps of Siebold. And there goes Gebhardt getting back around the 19. Oh, but he goes down! He goes down and Siebold avoids him. So Siebold just trying to dodge bullets at this point. Guys going every which direction. No idea when it's going to sort out. Up here we have a battle between Kohenauer and Deering going on. I'd say maybe the unfortunate part for Siebold is he's quickly running out of time. So while everybody's going down around him and he's making good positions, he's not got a lot of time left. He's only got a couple minutes and a lap to make do with what he's got here. And he's moved up to 7th, which is incredible. Let's see how many more positions he could get, or maybe he loses positions with another late fall here. He's still got Holm, Leclerc, Gebhardt, Haley, all right on him. He could fall down as far as 11th again. As Kohenauer looks like he has dropped Deering a little bit, and instead Eaglin has closed that gap in. Still Colton Mitchell out front though. There's Jeremy Smith, Jeremy Siebold, Walter Gebhardt. Jack Haley right behind Gebhardt. In front of Leclerc. Adam Holm has lost a lot of time, just got passed by Hunter Root. Gosh, these guys are all over the place right now. Big wheelie down the start straight for Gebhardt. He's trying to get away from Haley. So Haley closing up on him. This is your battle for 8th, 9th, 10th-ish right now as Gebhardt gets stacked up. Haley has to come to a complete stop. Leclerc is down again, and on top of him is Dylan Copeland. He's trying to get going, and instead he's still in front of Leclerc. So something weird just happened right there. Didn't quite catch it, though. And now Gebhardt's down on the start straight. Gebhardt getting going from a crash. Down the inside, Holm trying to make the move, and that was a little overzealous from Gebhardt trying to cut the line off and just gets punted out of the way. Holm not taking any business there. So Bryce Whelan able to go through. Now he's trying to run down Adam Holm. Jack Haley's down at the end of the rhythm. He's going to lose a couple positions again. And Gebhardt's not too far off of him. So Haley drops back to 11th. He's off the side of the track trying to get going, and Gebhardt's going to make an easy move down the inside. So it is coming unraveled quickly here for Haley. And Smith and Kohenauer side by side over the triple as Siebold's gotten by them. So he's up to 5th now as the white flag waves out front. Eaglin is right behind Deering. And Mitchell has lost the lead to Logan Leitzel. What happened to Mitchell? Mitchell has gone down. Mitchell was down, and Eaglin just went down. Look at this. Siebold has caught Mitchell at the very end of the race. What in the name of Davy Jones's locker is going on right now? Mitchell just trying to get as close as he can to maybe make a move on Deering and not get passed back by Siebold. All the while, 1 lap to go. Logan Leitzel coming around. He's going to take the win here. Keeping an eye on what's going on in the background there between Siebold and Mitchell. 1 turn to go. Logan Leitzel, main event number 2 winner in Las Vegas. Deering is going to solidify 2nd, maybe not. Oh my gosh, look at how close they got. Mitchell comes across 3rd, just ahead of Siebold, but those are 0.8 of a second between those 3, so cuts could definitely come into play there. A 5th for Smith, just ahead of Eaglin by 0.2 of a second. Hunter Root comes across here with an 8th. I can't believe Siebold got 4th again. 8th for Root, though. 9th for Adam Holm. 10th for Walter Gebhardt. Well, maybe not. He's all over the place. Ends up 10th, though. Leclerc comes across 11th. Wilcox battling with Whelan down to the line. And it ends up Wilcox ahead of Whelan. Tyler Lang comes across in 14th, matching his number. And Jack Haley. I think Jack Haley may have just kissed his shot at a championship goodbye with this result right here, unfortunately. I don't think you can, even with a win in the last race, if Siebold has a bad race, doesn't matter. I mean, the results as they are, it's looking pretty bleak here for Haley, and he's obviously pretty disappointed with the result here tonight as he comes across the line. So let's go back and look at cuts up front. It actually didn't change, and in fact, none of them had cuts. Eaglin was the first man with cuts. He doesn't lose a spot, though, and actually nobody we've talked about yet lost a spot. So Young ends up 16th, 17th Dickerson, 18th Ritzler, 19th Turley, 20th Fjellberg, 21st to Copeland, and 22nd was Brock Pearson. Incredible. So yeah, thanks. Big shout out our field reporter Kyle Miller, letting me know kind of where things are. He says as they run, Leitzel on 3 points, Mitchell on 3 points, and Siebold on 7 points. So if Mitchell can take the win here, Oh, he said, oh, never mind. He corrected it. Now it's Leitzel on 3, Mitchell on 4, and Siebold on 8. So Leitzel has the kind of upper hand here going into the last race to try to win this thing. Mitchell obviously wants to take that away from him and hope that Leitzel stays between him and Siebold to get max points. That would be a 5-point swing, which would mean that it would be a 13-point gap going into the last round, which we know could be pretty crazy. 13 points is steady, but not a huge gap. And as we head into these final races here tonight in Las Vegas, boy, oh boy, is there a lot to play for. Things could get wild, heat up in a hurry. Who's excited for these last main events? So glad you guys again could join us. Really, really appreciate everybody hanging out again. 16th round of the MotoOption SX series here in 2020. I can't believe these last couple weeks or so have felt really slow since real racing stopped. But for some reason, I feel like the sim races have still been flying by. Like without real racing, life is going slow, and sim is scooting by. I can't believe we're already almost at the final round and we'll be at, Hangtown before you know it. But yeah, crazy season thus far. It's still not over. That East Championship in Salt Lake City next week is going to be decided. So close between Dominic Tiberino, Isaiah Dickerson, and Colby Eaglin there. So we'll have to keep an eye on those 3 men next week. Right now, still a lot to play for in this 450 championship. And Braden Carter trying to go for the clean sweep in the 250 class here tonight. And Kyle Miller in chat being legendary as always, letting me know going into this race. It's Braden Carter on 2 points, Daniel Mills on 4 points, Riley Hewen is on 10 points, and as he updated me before earlier that Ivan Medina is on 11 points. So one more race left to go in this 250 class. Guys fighting for the podium. Braden Carter with just a, kind of breathing, I guess, in this last main event, will probably land on the podium. All right, 250 West, main event number 3 of the Triple Crown coming up next. Coming at you, hot and heavy. So everybody get nice and excited. This one's going to be good. Crazy track here tonight, too. It's been very interesting for racing. The rhythm sections have provided wild lines that I never would have expected. When I did a lap on this track earlier, I was like, I don't think anything's going to be much different than this line, and these guys are all doing crazy stuff. All right, yeah, whole shot picks, final main event. I'm going Dalton Plessinger in 250s. And in 450s, I'll go... Let's go 450s, we'll go Leitzel. So Plessinger and Leitzel are my picks. Hey Brecken, my quarantine's going fine. I'm hoping we're out of quarantine soon because as of, well, not as of today, 2 days from now, so basically as of today, I guess you could say, because you never really know when this is going to happen, but 2 months from now, my wife is supposed to give birth to our first child, so hopefully kind of gets all sorted out and we can get out of this quarantine situation before we bring our first child into the world. We're very excited about that, and kind of just during this quarantine just been hanging out with her as much as I can. All right, Final main event in the 250 class on the night. Can Braden Carter get the clean sweep, or will someone else spoil the party? It's main event number 3 in Las Vegas. Looks like it's Mullins from the outside, and it's going to be, yeah, Dale Mullins, RaceFactoryGaming.com Whole Shot Award. According to ATE Studios, he's now $5 richer. Just gets over that line first. So it's Jake Rose, Chase Blakely, Alex Heckman, Robert Wilson, Brandon Holmes, Dalton Plessinger. Look at how close these guys are with the finish line jump. Oh, Wilson almost through the front door there. Oh, and now Plessinger goes down and Wilson also goes down. Nobody can stay on 2 wheels here. Where's Braden Carter? Not in this front group. In fact, Mullins under attack here a little bit from Jake Rose. Jake Rose trying to close up. Ooh, Heckman off the side of the track. Heckman looked like he just lagged through the jump there. Ooh, a little slide out there again for Heckman. He's struggle busting it. And Zoe Cross goes by. Tripling in from the outside is Cross, but they're going to end up doing basically the same line because Heckman gets the triple on clean and cases, so Holmes goes by. So Cross and Holmes both move Heckman on out of the way. Here comes Sullivan. We got Craig Richards in a good position. Benjamin saves. Rogan McIntosh is up here. Riley Hewen, Tyler Shields, and then Braden Carter. So Carter right now, he's down in 13th. Been running some not the best lap times here early on. See if you can get this pass made. I think this is Tyler Shields. Yep, Tyler Shields. Carter squares up underneath of him and makes the pass and still nails the triple in. You can see there's a big group of people right in front of him, about 4 guys going on the Dragon's back at one time. Ooh, a little inside cheeky move puts Heckman down. Can't see who that was. That may have been Robert Wilson. Carter just put down a 54.3, which puts in his fastest lap of the race thus far. Only 3 laps in though, so only 2 times given, but still, Carter putting down a blistering pace early on, trying to work his way through the field. It's always just really fun to watch these guys try to methodically work their way through. Slide out, corrals it together, is going to probably make a couple passes here. Definitely got around, I think that's Hewen, and it is. Now he's closing up on, it's actually Blakely on the 21. That's who put Heckman down before the finish line jump, but Carter slides out in the process. Carter's going to lose a spot back to Hewen, and there goes Tyler Shields back on by. And peeking down the inside is Ben Seberg, but he backs out of the challenge. So just as Carter had made a couple spots, he loses them right back. Now McIntosh jumps on Jake Rose. They both go down, takes Blakely down with him. There goes Hewen through, Carter goes through, Shields on by, Seberg on by. Everybody kind of funneling through there. I see D. Mills back there as well. So Hewen gaining some spots. We got Brandon Holmes just up the road. He's in 6th right now. Carter's in 8th. Benjamin saves. Luke Sullivan, Craig Richards, Dale Mullins, and Zoe Cross out front leading right now. The MX Locker number 49 machine finally finding the front of the field this time. Now let's see if he can establish a little bit of a gap and try to go out and win this thing. Just shy of the halfway point of the race. Cross is looking pretty good out front, but Dale Mullins might be running a little bit faster at the moment. The Impact Gas rider on the 231. Trying to go after the 49 machine out front. Let's get a lap time check as they come to the finish line jump this time by. Over the line for Carter, he is going to lay down a 54.3, so he put in a pretty good lap, but a 54 flat for Mullins, so definitely closed it in just a little bit, 0.3 of a second that last time alone. And oh man, Mullins, I think he wanted to get that quad right there, and that is just brutal to watch. You have to double through that rhythm section. So Craig Richards now starting to close up just a little bit. Luke Sullivan's back here in the 4 ride. And Hewen just moved up to 5th around Benjamin Saves. He's trying to bring Braden Carter with him. And Carter can see Saves. In fact, he just made the move on Saves, who cased the double on Whoop entry. Back down the starting line they go. Carter in turn number 1. Little tuck of the front wheel by Saves behind him. So can Carter run down Hewen for 5th? It doesn't look like he needs it because Daniel Mills is behind him. And Hewen is not close enough in terms of points to knock off Braden Carter from the top step of the podium. So Carter doesn't need this, but might just do it anyway. And there he goes into 5th as Hewen makes a mistake. Carter's on through. Next target would be Luke Sullivan on the 65 machine. Well, Zoe Cross just went down. Zoe Cross has coughed up the lead. It's now Dale Mullins and fellow Australian and former 250 West champion Craig Richards right behind him. Ooh, Richards a little bit of a swap there on corner entry. Down through the tunnel jump one more time. We got 3 minutes and a lap left on the clock as Heckman gets going there right behind Richards. It looked for a minute at least like Richards was starting to close up on Mullins out front, but for the time being, he's losing ground just a little bit. Mullins has kind of reopened that gap, and here comes Sullivan and Carter. Man, Carter really might actually have a shot at winning this thing here. In fact, down went the leader. Dale Mullins went down, and Richards just went down as well. There's the move. Carter just made the pass from 4th to 1st in one section, and he cross-jumped the hell out of Luke Sullivan in the process. But Carter back to the lead, trying to go for the clean sweep here, and he had to come from a ways back to do it. Now let's see if Sullivan on the 65 has an answer. Trying to look inside on the Dragon's back, a little out of shape there. Sullivan actually had to check up, and it lost him some time. As of right now, though, Carter in a prime position to sweep these races. And oh, Sullivan down behind him. Carter gets the 4.33 clean, and you could kiss him goodbye at this point. Seberg's going to move into 2nd. And at this point, have to hope Carter has a mistake of some kind. Oh, now Seberg tips over in the corner. Here comes Cross back to try to get into 2nd. His lead position, nobody seems to want right now. And Craig Richards in the mix here. Whoa, a little out of shape for Seberg, but Cross had a moment of his own as these two are about to debate over 2nd place with a minute and a lap remaining here in the final main event. Daniel Mills, by the way, has climbed all the way up to 5th, which should pretty easily solidify him in 2nd at this point. Getting updates in chat from Kyle Miller that the points right now are Carter on 3, Mills on 10, and Hewen on 16. Seberg just up the road here. Still trying to hold down 2nd, but Braden Carter, this is actually going to be really close with the finish line. No, 14 seconds, he'll make it. So, 2-lap board coming out this time by essentially because Carter crosses the line with 5 seconds and some change remaining. 2 to go. Final 250 West round this year that will be the only the 250 West boys racing each other. Of course, next week in Salt Lake City, they will be, excuse me, racing the East Coast boys as well. But for Carter, it really doesn't matter because he's already well and truly clinched his championship, and he might, with a win here, might just well have one of the largest championship winning gaps in history of this game, at least for 250 racing action, because he might eclipse the 100-point lead mark with a win here tonight, which is absolutely mental that he has that big of a points gap, and it's only a 10-round series in which 26 points are doled out for a win. So he's basically got a 4-race lead point gap on everybody else. If he can get that 100-point mark, which is not unreasonably out of the question given his stature in the points right now. So Carter going to be the man to get it done here tonight, it appears. His white flag is out, and he is looking to go 3 for 3, and this one was definitely an earned victory here. Dialed in on this 250F all season long, and just like some of the dominating rides we've seen from him up until this point, this one may be all the more sweeter because in 10 minutes he's gone from outside of the top 10 to the front and sweeps all 3 tonight in Las Vegas. It's Braden Carter, your winner in Sin City. Ben Seberg, he'll cross the line in second. Zoe Cross ends up third. So it looks like he'll fall just short of third overall unless something happens to Hewen. It's going to be Richards who ends up in fourth. Mullins is down in fifth. Sullivan goes by. That's Daniel Mills going by as well. So Mills looks like he's going to get sixth and solidify himself second on the night. So it's a JDR 1-2. Oh, contact! And Mills gets around him. Unbelievable. Mullins crosses the line sixth. Sullivan just gets over the line seventh. Medina 8th, 9th for Kevin Gonzalez, 10th Tyler Shields, 11th Hewen, 12th McIntosh, 13th Benjamin Saves, 14th is going to go to Brandon Holmes. 15th for Trevor Spencer, 16th Chase Blakely, 17th Hunter Braun, 18th Heckman, 19th Mudge, 20th Plessinger, 21st Rose, 22nd Wilson. Let's see if cuts affected anything in this group. No, actually looks like it didn't change anything. Carter still gets the win. Unofficially Mills second, and Zoa Cross due to a Riley Hewen fall apart there at the end, who ends up 11th. I believe Zoa Cross ends up third overall. We'll have to wait for sure to see whether or not that does come into play. Cross is going to be definitely stoked on a podium here though if he can get it done. He's probably sitting there doing the math in his head right now. Alrighty, folks. 450 main event number 3 coming up in Las Vegas. Hope you guys are excited. This is going to be a good one. Zach Commons again dropping by in chat saying that Copeland blew a fork seal in that last one, and that one was on the team, so don't count him out for main event number 3, which, by the way, Copeland actually got a great start there in that second main event, just didn't quite work out. Apparently a blown fork seal, which for those of you that don't know, you can't do that in this game, but Zach Commons playfully explaining that it was blown fork seal. Panic Rev here. Just got a sponsor meeting with D-Cope for us to become a corporate sponsor. We need a top 5 from him in main 3. So the pressure's on Dylan Copeland for D-Cope to become a corporate sponsor, or to have Panic Rev become a corporate sponsor of him. He's finished top 5 in this main, so dang, pressure is on. Hey, yeah, Brecken, I actually used to do highlights each week. Problem is, it takes kind of a lot of time. Yeah, like, so the videos you guys see at the beginning of the stream, those are done by Fabio Guido. And he does a great job on those. He kind of does those for Race Factory's purposes. They end up on the Race Factory YouTube channel. I used to do like a here's what happened at round whatever video, but they take a lot of time, like more time than you think. I have to go through the main events and kind of rewatch them, record things, etc., etc. So I'd prefer to not do it, but if people are begging for it, maybe I'll start doing it again. All right, final main event time. So this one, obviously, a little bit closer right now. Leitzel enters this final main event on 3 points with the lead. Colton Mitchell really, really, really would love to win this one tonight, though, and he's on 4 points. But Jeremy Siebold, I think with Mitchell's good results so far, can't win this championship here just tonight alone, but might give himself a really good chance of doing so. He's on 8 points. Could actually win this overall. We'll have to see how it shakes down. Time to go racing, though. Final race of the Triple Crown from Las Vegas in the 450 class. Let's go racing. Mitchell, great start down the inside. If he doesn't get bumped, he'll be through the inside of the corner first, and he does. Colton Mitchell, hole shot, racefactorygaming.com hole shot award. Leclerc was right there. He goes down, though. So Mitchell out front. D-Cope with a great start in second. Zach Commons took his shirt off again. Panic Rev is starting to pay those bills. We got Tyler Lang up there. Walter Gebhardt in a good spot. Adam Holm is towards the front, and another rough start for Siebold. Looks like he's about 10th right now. So over the finish line jump, lap 1, still Mitchell out front. Made a little mistake. Oh, man, this might cost him. Coming through the middle. Gebhardt lands on him. Wow, that was a huge dodged bullet right there for Mitchell, who got a boost from his teammate instead of going down himself. And Mitchell continues to lead. Copeland, Holmes, Smith, and now Siebold going around the outside of Whelan's going to make that pass because Whelan just messed up the inside a little bit. So Siebold up to 5th. Where's Logan Leitzel? Logan Leitzel down in about 11th right now. So Leitzel, who entered this final main event with the lead in the points, not in a good position. We got Adam Holmes stuck on the tunnel jump. Got Sabrina Ritza up here, Bryce Whelan, and Jeremy Siebold. Oh, Whelan, big cartwheel. Somehow Ritzler didn't hit him. And Siebold, who was almost going down at the end of the section himself, kind of dodged a bullet because he would have definitely had Whelan coming down the inside of the next turn. And Gebhardt down in the opposite lane there. So Siebold up into 4th. Siebold on the number 19, trying to run down Jeremy Smith. Dylan Copeland still a solid second, but it's Colton Mitchell leading with 10 minutes and a lap to go here. And of course, Mitchell, if he could pick up this win here tonight, although Siebold looks like he may end up second, depending on where Leitzel gets to. Mitchell, if he takes the win and Siebold gets second, would claw the points gap from 18 to 15 with a round to go, as Jack Haley will be mathematically eliminated from the championship. Siebold with a second, Haley would need to finish 7th or better, but Haley has had an off night all night long, and 7th looks unlikely at this point, unless he could corral together a podium finish in this one, but he is pretty far down the field at the moment. Oh, Kyle Miller actually just let me know Jack Haley's out for the night. Well, it still shows him as 16th on my screen. But maybe he is out, not sure. So Mitchell getting a good drive through the whoops, 3.8 seconds on Seabolt. And Seabolt, if he takes the win in this main event, doesn't matter whether or not Mitchell beats him. Mitchell just needs to not be like 3 spots behind him, I believe the gap is. So Mitchell might be hedging his bets here a little bit. Although I think ideally he'd just like to take away with this and pick up a win. Seabolt's still in 2nd. How about Sabrina Ritzler right now? MX Simulator's fastest woman running in 3rd. Talk about it all the time, but she's still the only female to have won a 450 main event in this game. Back in 2012, she won at Indy. And great to see that she's still got some good speed in this class, and right now looking to try to pick up a 3rd in this main event, which would be huge for her. Tripling her way through, though. Ooh, a little kick off the tabletop landing there. That was close for her. Oh, Copeland. Remember, he needs to finish 5th in this thing for Panic Rev to become one of his corporate sponsors, supposedly. I don't know if that's the real Panic Rev account. I think it is. It looks real. Real logo and correct capitalization and such. But either way, Zach Commons is here, and Zach Commons is probably just having a field day right now that his buddy D-Cope is running in top 5. Smith back here, Jeremy Cohenauer behind him, Dennis Fjellberg, Colby Eagland, Ash Deering, Logan Leitzel, who is down in 11th, it looks still, yeah, 11th. Hunter Root behind him, Bryce Whelan, Tyler Lang, Brock Pearson, Reed Young, Spencer Turley. Alexis Leclerc having a bad night, and he's back here with Spencer Turley, and I know these two are not necessarily the bestest of friends, so I'm wondering how this is going to turn out right here. Leclerc cuts down in the berm, scrubs the triple. Turley runs him high and takes him out. Well, I think that was more Leclerc not reacting very well to it. But, yeah, that was a little bit curious there. And Leclerc about to be lapped there by Colton Mitchell. Mitchell going around him, and Leclerc looks like he's just having some fun right now. Ooh, little kick there for Mitchell as he jumps off the track. Nice salvage job, though. Oh, Haley takes down Leclerc. What is going on? And now Haley goes down. Something's fishy back here. Something's going on. It's still Mitchell out front. Seabolt is in 2nd, and as he puts Jack Haley a lap down, that is pretty much going to eliminate Jack Haley from this championship. I don't think that there's any possibility Haley is still alive after this. For the title, because even if Seabolt finishes 3rd, let's say Leitzel gets back to 3rd in this race or something like that, Haley needs to finish 9th overall, and Haley hasn't even finished 9th once tonight. So, yeah, not looking good for the Jack attack. Ritz are still in 3rd right now. Great ride. Adam Holm and, well, Dylan Copeland trying to chase her down. That's Walter Gebhardt behind Holm, but he's a lap down. And Leclerc behind Gebhardt is a lap down with him. Oh, Ritzer was off the track, and she's trying to get going. Whoa! Leclerc just quadded down the inside, got around Wilcox and Gebhardt. There's so much action going on back there. Why don't we just go watch what's going on back there, because it's crazy. So Leclerc just passed Gebhardt and Wilcox at the same time. They went down. Now Smith is down in the whoops with Copeland. Copeland is down, folks. Uh-oh. Dylan Copeland getting going there with Jeremy Smith, and he's now down in 8th. He's got to get a couple more spots to end up 5th there. Logan Leitzel has now moved up into 7th, and with Siebold in 2nd, that's going to leave them tied, I believe. Because Logan Leitzel entered on 3 points, so 7 will get him 10, and Siebold entered on 8 points, so 2 will get him 10. And oh, that's not going to be good for Leitzel, who just cartwheeled mid-rhythm. Got a big kick there, and Copeland's going to pick up a spot because of that. He goes up to 7th or 8th. No, 7th. Yeah, okay. So Copeland now needs to catch Eagland and Fjellberg just up the road to get into the top 5. Ritzer still holding on to a very strong 4th, as Adam Holm has moved up to 3rd behind his teammate Jeremy Siebold. And Siebold would like to run down Mitchell for the win here, but it doesn't matter points-wise. Mitchell would still pick up the overall, and Siebold would get 2nd regardless. So we're working on maybe 4 more laps to go here in Vegas, and Colton Mitchell going to take another big win back-to-back weeks. It'll be his 3rd win of the season, and unfortunately for him, he cannot beat Siebold on a tiebreaker because Siebold already has 5 wins. So even if Mitchell wins this week and next week and they tie on points, Siebold still has the tiebreakers. So Mitchell needs a lot of miracles going his way, as he'll be 15 points down as they run with a round to go next week in Salt Lake. But you never know. I mean, Siebold next week could miss the main event. A little less likely, I would say, than most, just because there's no opposite coast guys that are racing in the class that could stop him. Like, for example, here tonight, we have Logan Leitzel, we have Isaiah Dickerson, we have Colby Eagland racing in this class. They won't be in this class next week, nor will Braden Carter or, you name it on the West Coast. They'll be still racing their respective coasts in the showdown, and they won't be up there to spoil the party in the 450 class, so to speak. So the competition might be a little less stiff for the finale, and that might be exactly what Siebold needs to just kind of sneak into the main event, put in a semi-solid ride, and win his first ever 450 SX championship in this game. But that is still a week away. Right now, we are watching Colton Mitchell out front cruising with the lead, trying to hold off Siebold with a couple laps to go. And Adam Holm putting in a good ride up here in 3rd. Ritzler still a strong 4th. Here's Fjellberg and Eagland. If they get together, oh, I was just about to mention Copeland was catching him, and he yards himself off. Now he's trying to get going. Let's see, does he lose another spot? And he does. Smith goes by. So Copeland back down to 8th now, and really needed something to happen there between Fjellberg and Eagland, or it's going to be a massive Daytona disappoint there for Panic Rev and Zach Commons in the chat. White flag is waving, though, out front, and Eagland now has just about 5 turns left to go before he sees his 3rd win of the season. What a time to pick up his 2nd and 3rd wins in back-to-back weeks this year, though. And with this 2nd place finish, Siebold will eliminate Jack Haley from the championship, leaving just 2 men left alive. as we head to Salt Lake City next week. But for now, here in Vegas, taking the final corner and the victory tonight, Colton Mitchell has won it again in Las Vegas. Siebold crossed the line second, will take second overall. Adam Holm comes across in third. Eagland looks like he's got fourth, wrapped up over Ritzler now. Fjellberg just went down. Fjellberg has just gone down. Jeremy Smith trying to close in with a couple turns to go. Oh, and Fjell gets up and, God, double fall off. You hate to see it. Ritzler crosses in fifth. Fjellberg trying to get going in sixth. Dylan Copeland. I'm sorry, Fjellberg just got going in seventh. Dylan Copeland coming across the line here. He'll end up eighth. He doesn't get that corporate sponsorship from Panic Rev, I should say. Logan Leitzel comes across 9th, 10th Ash Deering, 11th Brock Pearson. That was all the riders on the lead lap. Root, Cohenauer, Lang, Whelan, Young, Turley, Leclerc, Gebhardt, and Haley ends up 20th. Wilcox, Dickerson out of this one as well, as we wait for Gebhardt to finish, and we'll wait for cuts to see if the lead changes. Only a second in it out front, and as Gebhardt comes through, one more turn to go. You can hear him, and over the line he goes. No, it doesn't change, and everything looks like it stayed the same in the top 10. Well, 15 points in it for the championship decider next week in Salt Lake City. I hope you guys had another wonderful night here watching us on Start Your Systems. Round number 16 of the 2020 MotoOption SX Series here in Las Vegas is done. And round number 16, round number 17 coming up next week in Salt Lake City, the finale. 15 points in it, like I said. Can Colton Mitchell pull a rabbit out of his hat and win it? Or will Siebold finally claim his first ever 450 SX championship in this game? Like we said, Jack Haley has been mathematically eliminated. Braden Carter's already clinched the West Championship, but a very close points battle between Colby Eagland, Isaiah Dickerson, and Dominic Tiberino in that 250 East Championship that will be really curious to watch next week as well. So 2 championships coming down to the final round in Salt Lake. Going to be a blast, and we really hope to see you guys there. Big shout out, of course, all the sponsors that help every week with the series: MotoOption Clothing, Race Tech Suspension, MXS Lobby, RC Underground, Tagger Designs, MXSimulator.com for all their help, of course. Race Factor Gaming putting on another great night of racing. Can't thank them enough. And you guys at home as well for tuning in to another awesome night. Really appreciate all the viewers we had, over 200, basically the entire stream. You guys are the bomb. Really, really, really appreciate it. And like I said, we'll see you guys next week in Salt Lake City for the finale. So long for now.